loyal Cubs fans? Dave Steppensmeyer with another edition to After Game Night post game recap. And today, Friday, July 27th, 2018, Cubs took on the Cardinals. Unfortunately, didn't get the results that I thought they would get. You had Montgomery against Weaver. And Montgomery pitched a quality start last time against the Cardinals. His last start, where he only gave up 1 run in 6 innings. Pretty impressive. Today, geez, Cards had his numbers. They got 12 hits off of him. To be honest, he was fortunate to only give up 5 runs. Only pitched 5 innings. So, not good. He did make a pretty good play where he's pretty athletic. He used to be a basketball player that the guy bunted with the guy in third, and he ran, and while falling down, threw a scoop throw to home, and so that saved 1 run. Things really could have been worse. 12 hits and only 5 runs. A lot of times 12 hits can lead to a lot more than 5 runs, but he just was pretty hittable. And I didn't like the play at third. I don't sugarcoat things. I say things how I believe they were. Happ did make 1 error. It did not lead up to a run. I was impressed Montgomery got like a ground out and a strikeout or something like that to get out of 1 of the innings. Things, like I said, could have been worse. But throughout the game, like Happ, they didn't call him an error, but I felt like maybe Bote, maybe a taller Bryant could have got some of the balls that went over his head or went around him on the ground. I'm sorry, just was not impressed with Happ's defense on third. I mean, obviously, when he came into the game, I felt like he would make it by his bat, and his bat has been better. He got a hit tonight. Power numbers been down. I mean, he hit 24 homers last year after call-up in May. He's not an everyday player, but lately he's been more of an everyday player because you got Brian out. And so they play him wherever, third base, center field, left field. He's got his average up. His on-base percentage is pretty dang good. But his defense, I don't know about him playing third. So, and I'm on as much as like Bryant when he's at his prime, his bat. I don't know if I like Bryant at third. Just being honest, makes a lot of errors. But that Bote, been pretty impressed. So hopefully tomorrow they play Bote at third and figure it out. I haven't looked to see if we're up against a left or right-handed hitter. I like Elmore at center. Elmore was somewhat quiet tonight. Most of the bats were Cubs lost 5-2, and frustrating. You thought, Weaver, he's not having a great year, 4.7 ERA. Montgomery looked really good against the Cardinals, but things don't always go as you think on paper. And the only runs Cubs got were solo home runs, which is kind of cool to see. Like Baez hit his 20th home run. Rizzo, just amazing hitting. He was hitting over 500. Last I've seen hitting like 444 from the leadoff spot. Pretty amazing. But guys couldn't get on base. And, there was a situation where Caratini was leading off the inning and then Rizzo second. I thought, this is kind of cool. Maybe Madden knows what he's doing with this batting the pitcher in the 8th spot. And Caratini was up. I want to say it was the 3rd inning, but he couldn't get on base. And then Rizzo hits a home run, But instead of a solo home run, it could have been a 2-run homer. Yeah, it's frustrating, one of those days. Even against a subpar pitcher, they made him look better than he is. And Montgomery just had his worst game. I think a career high, they said, gave up 12 hits. Everyone was hitting against him. He only walked 1 guy. That's a positive. But just everyone was hitting against him. It's like, and they stuck with him for 5 innings in the bottom of the, well, not the bottom of the 5th, but Cubs being on the road in the 6th, they went ahead and used a pinch hitter. And then Rosario, he did walk 2 guys. Caratini, I was kind of impressed. Usually it's Wilson that does this, but Caratini got a guy in a pickle. Carpenter. That's one positive. We kept Carpenter. Montgomery actually got him out three times in a row. And then that 6th inning, when Madden's like, I don't know if I want you pitching to Carpenter a 4th time. And Rosario walked him. Not the worst thing to do. Beats a home run. And they got him in a pickle and got him out. And then Rosario got Molina, struck him out. And then he gave up another walk. And then we got out of it. So, that Rosario, he's the only Cubs reliever with minor league options. And he seems to keep forcing his issue. Well, his ERA's like under 2. He pitched another scoreless inning today. And he didn't come in a high leverage inning today. He came in with the clean inning, 6th inning. And like I said, he walked 2, but he didn't give up any hits. And he struck out Molina. Can't remember if he struck out another guy, but scoreless inning, kept the Cubs in the game. Cubs just, they could have came back. And then kind of a shot on this Alex Mills. He was called up from Iowa. He's actually a starter. He's been in the major leagues before in small sample size, like 7 or 8 innings. He didn't do very well, small sample size. And he's been starting for Iowa. Cubs picked him up last year. Last year he got injured. And he's looked better the last 3-4 outings. But his ERA is like 4.7 as a starter for Iowa. So not quite great enough to say, we don't need Hamels. You can go for it. They don't quite trust him to that point. But he is on the 40-man roster. Maybe he can help out in the bullpen. Reading from Kerry Muscat, the Cubs beat writer, that Alex Mills was just called up to do 1 game because Cole Hamels needed a little bit more time, sort out things with his family, pack, get relocated, and then he's going to be on the roster tomorrow. So Mills will probably get called back down. So what makes Theo and Madden look like a genius is you got 6 outs that Mills pitched. Struck out, I think, 2. Got 6 outs in a row. And he's going to probably be called back down. And, you have fresh arms tomorrow. The only guy you use in the bullpen, as bad as Montgomery looked, everyone getting hits off of him, is you only use Rosario for 1 inning. You could even pitch Rosario again tomorrow. Not sure how durable it is, but even if you rest Rosario, you have the other 7-8 guys. Except technically we have 6 starters tomorrow. They're going to give more details. They say they're going to go to a 5-man rotation, is what I read through. I always try to go with legitimate sources. Kerry Muscat, Chicago Cubs beat writer. She's pretty factual. Too. Things come kind of right out of Madden and Theo's mouth. And Jesse Rogers, he'll have some opinions, but they're pretty close on. I mean, they're pretty close passing on information that they get right from decision makers. Theo Epstein and Joe Madden of what's going on. But it's my understanding they will stick to a 5-man rotation, but adding Hamels. Okay, that's 6 pitchers right now. We're not even include Darvish. Darvish is still trying to work his way back, but it's not there. I mean, first he's going to do rehab starts. We don't know when those are going to start. If it's going to be 1 or 2, but my guess, if he comes back, it'll be September 1st, and it won't have an impact on affecting the 25-man roster. But we'll see. But something will give. My concern today is with Montgomery having a horrible game. That, you're going back to the pen. Okay, he did have a bad game, but before today, his ERA was like in the low 3s as a starter. So he's pretty good, and he's coming off a quality start. he had like 5 quality starts, something like that before, and then he had a little bit of regression. But you, you got to think that's a lot better than Chatwood, even better than Hendricks. Hendricks is nowhere near where he was his 2016 season when he had the lowest ERA. I'm hoping he gets it together. He did have a game where he went 8 1/3 innings and didn't walk a guy till that 8 1/3. Then they pulled him out, and he didn't give up any earned runs. That was his best game of the year. It's kind of the Hendricks of old that we used to see, but we're not seeing that out of him now. Excuse me. Well, it just wasn't a good Friday night. Milwaukee ended up beating the San Francisco Giants. On paper, you thought, they may lose because they're up against Bumgarner. Bumgarner pitched 8 innings. In that 8th inning, he ended up giving up another run. So it's like 3 runs. I don't know if they're all earned, but when he left, they were down 3-1. But it's kind of like the Cubs today. The bats weren't there. And so Milwaukee pulls up to a 1.5 games. And this game, Cubs game, it wasn't all Montgomery's fault. Cubs hitters, which they normally do better. We've seen it on Thursday night, where it was a miracle comeback. 7th, 8th, 9th inning, Cubs went down 1, 2, 3, all 3 innings. Very disappointing. Cardinals have a few good relievers. They have that Hicks that can throw 100 miles per hour, but we should be able to hit off those guys, and we have in the past. But the bats just disappeared. It's like we couldn't hit a wiffle ball. Very frustrating. But reality, we're looking at 59 games left. Still a long time to go. We're up by 1.5 games. It may give Theo Epstein more motivation. He left the door open that he may get another arm. So, we're not just going to sit there and do nothing. The Brewers made a few moves, bringing a bat, bringing a pitcher. They had some injuries. And they played pretty good today. I'll give them credit. So, we know the division's not over yet. We're going to keep doing what it takes to win more games. I will give kudos to Madden that pitching Alex Mills 2 innings. And he got 2 pretty effective innings out of him. Very smart. It's a genius. I think that will help us out tomorrow. Especially if you can get Quintana to pitch like he did last time. To go 7 innings. The first 2 innings he gave up a run apiece. And then he's pretty damn good. So, very encouraging to see the Quintana that is capable of. I'm hoping we see that tomorrow. I'm hoping we see Bote get the start at third base, because Thursday he probably saved 2 runs. Granted, he's playing second base. And then he scored 2 runs, 2 RBIs. I mean, he basically was the MVP. And like to see that. 3 p.m. Saturday. Cubs hold on to a 1.5 games lead. Another interesting note is Cole Hamels. He started on Monday. So tomorrow will be a 4-day rest. Well, they're going to pitch Quintana, but Cole Hamels maybe could come in relief. There's rumors that he have to do a simulation game. Why not just let him pitch a few innings? Depending on the game situation. Rest the other relievers. And then, if he doesn't throw a whole lot of pitches, we have the day off on Monday. Pitch him Tuesday, Wednesday. Had to do the math. He could just start instead of Chatwood. Some rumors that Chatwood would go to the pen. I don't want them to give up on Chatwood yet, because you have to pay him for 3 years. $37 million. I'm thinking the time to give up on him is maybe middle of next year. Unless in the offseason you could trade him. But the reality is, when you have a pitcher pitcher, hitter, whoever performing bad, usually those trades, you're like agreeing to eat half their salary. You know, it's kind of like this Cole Hamels that we're getting, being paid $23 million this year. There's like $14 million left or whatever it is, prorated this year. Cubs only have to pay $5 million. Phillies have to pay, or not Phillies, but Rangers have to pay the rest. So we have him for $5 million. Not a lot of money for a starting pitcher anymore in the market. Granted, his results haven't been like a couple years ago when he was an all-star. But hopefully change the scenery, gets better. We'll see. It's got to be better in Chatwood. Well, anyway, we'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Go Cubs, go!